So I'd like to welcome you to the 4th Annual Kummer Day. I'm Richard Brow. I'm Curator's Distinguished Professor of Material Science and Engineering. I'm also the Executive Director of Operations for the Kummer Institute for Student Success, Research, and Economic Development. I'll be your MC for today's celebration. Please begin enjoying your salads as we start the program. So I will not be offended if you're enjoying your lunch while I'm giving you a little bit of information. Today, we honor the transformational $300 million gift from Fred and June Kummer, and we celebrate June's memory. Their generosity has changed forever Missouri S&T and the lives of countless students and faculty. We're especially honored to have with us today Melanie and David, Fred and June's daughter and son-in-law. Thank you for making the trip to campus. Your presence means so much to all of us. As we enjoy this lunch and hear from our speakers, I encourage you to reflect on how the Kummer's generosity has touched your lives and our university. Their legacy lives on in so many ways, including this very building. The Innovation Lab is the first completed capital project at Missouri S&T that was supported by the Kummer gift. And just look around, you'll see that there are a number more coming soon. I'm also excited to announce an important change. The Kummer board voted earlier in the year to rename the name of the Kummer Institute Foundation to now be known as the Kummer Missouri S&T Foundation. This new name better reflects the deep partnership and shared commitment to the Kummer mandate to elevate Missouri S&T, create broad STEM outreach, and drive economic development for our region. We look forward to continuing our mission under this new banner, strengthening our support of S&T and fostering innovation for years to come. Now, to officially open our program, please welcome our Chancellor, Dr. Dehghani.
Leave my eyes. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Dick, for the introduction. I am truly delighted to be here today, as this is a day that has changed the university forever. As Dick highlighted some of the activities, and I will later on highlight my annual letter that I read to Fred and June, highlighting the impact that they've had in this wonderful university. So I want to welcome all of you to this special day. 4 years ago, Fred and June made a gift that forever changed our university. Their $300 million donation was not just a financial contribution, it was an investment in the future of education, innovation, and the state of Missouri. Today, we reflect on that impact and look to the future. In these 4 short years, we've seen effects of the Kummer gift across campus in scholarships for students through the Kummer Vanguard Scholars and fellowships through the Kummer I&E Doctoral Fellows. The number of students benefiting from these opportunities is over 1,300 now. 1,300. Folks, that sounds like a government program, not really like a private donation program. In addition, we see the physical effects of the gift in all the construction and development on campus. Our Arrival complex is taking shape. The Innovation Lab is open. This is the building that you're in, along with our parking garage and the new underpass from residential areas to the Arrival complex. Our Welcome Center is under construction. That's the building right there that you see the crane. All these projects were made possible by the Kummer gift, not only by providing seed funding that was later replaced by donations, but the Kummer gift has inspired additional gifts that are fueling our construction and future growth. I will highlight some of these additional gifts that have come in. I do like to mention one of them now, and that was shortly after Fred and June announced their gift. I heard from a gentleman by the name of Anthony Steinmeier, who said, look, I just read about the Kummer gift and the impact that it could have. Remember, this was merely a month after the gift was installed. He said, I have nothing to do with Missouri S&T except to say that I went to Rolla High School 43 years ago, and then from there I went to Harvard Law School. And I've been a lawyer for the Department of Justice for the last 40 years. And he asked me if there was going to be a Department of Economics in the Kummer College of Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Economic Development. And I said, yes, sir. And he said, well, I'd like to contribute to the Kummer gift in honor of my late father, Matthew Steinmeier, who passed away in 1963. But I'd like to make a donation. I choke up, frankly, every time I talk about this and I remember it. Well, a few days later, we received a $2 million check where we established an endowed chair in economics in the honor of Matthew Steinmeier. The gift was made by his son, Anthony Steinmeier. Unfortunately, Anthony Steinmeier passed away at the age of 83, and I wanted to go and visit him in Washington, D.C., but he was in ill health, and I didn't get to meet the gentleman. But that's an example, and as I said, I will hire a few other ones, of the inspiration that the Kummer gift has made in so many of our alums. And the facilities that you see, Kummer funding seeded, but we have raised an enormous amount of funds from the state, from the feds, from the private donations, from our alumni, from the members of various boards. What I didn't mention here is our manufacturing protoplex across I-44, which is the very first building of many buildings on our innovation campus. And so keep in mind that this gift is not a gift that is contributing to what you see and programmatic developments that you will learn about later on, but also it has become a gift that keeps on giving. It has become a gift that inspires others to give. So I want you to know the impact, not only the real physical and programmatic impact, but the long-term impact that this gift has had on the university. So beyond these tangible achievements, the Kummer's generosity has instilled a spirit of possibility thinking across our campus. It has shown us that we can achieve when visionary philanthropy meets a community dedicated to excellence. To truly appreciate the depth of the Kummer's impact, we must understand both Fred and June's stories. We've often celebrated Fred's remarkable journey from S&T student to successful entrepreneur. So today, I want to take a moment to highlight June's incredible story. I am particularly excited about the speakers we'll hear from today, which will give us a more complete picture of this remarkable couple. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce Melanie and David Brewer, who will share some personal reflections on June Kummer's remarkable life and legacy. Melanie Brewer is the daughter of Fred and June Kummer. Melanie?
Thank you so much, Chancellor Dehghani, and students, professors, staff, administrators, everyone in this room. It's really great to be here. My husband David attended this college and graduated in 1982 in mechanical engineering, and he's right there. So we're just, yes, absolutely, yeah, yes. That was a tough degree to get. So we're just thrilled to be here. I mean, the energy, the creativity, the research, just knowing what's going on. And we haven't been here a little while to see this beautiful building is just fantastic. So I also want to especially congratulate the Kummer Vanguard Scholars, and also for your achievement there. And I want to congratulate the Kummer Innovation and Entrepreneurship I&E Doctoral Fellows. I hope that this school will be, I hope that this school meets all your expectations, and even more, of course. Missouri S&T, the Kummer Institute, it is having such a huge positive impact on Rolla, Missouri, the United States, and of course, the world, really. It's just fantastic, and we're just great to be a part of it. But let's turn a corner now. I would like to talk just a little bit about my mom, June Marie Kummer. You all know that she passed away January 8th, 2024. She lived to be 93 years old, and there's her picture there. She was a great helper to my dad. My dad as well. My dad supported all of her ideas as well, so it was a great combination, back and forth. My mother earned her bachelor's degree in architecture from Washington University in St. Louis, so that the architecture and engineer combination was really fantastic. I want to list some of her characteristics. She was kind, smart, funny, energetic, and lively, extremely hardworking, very creative, supportive, determined. She had a high sense of morality, and she's a woman of faith. I could talk all day about her, but I don't think we want to do that. But let me tell you about the last few months of her life. Like I said, she died in January, early January. Her last few months were difficult. She lost a lot of weight. She was fading. She slept more, and it was hard to watch. But she had a good countenance about her. She was she was still cheerful and really tried her hardest. And I remember we would enjoy reading the thank you notes from the Vanguard scholars, together, David, myself, and my mom. And my mom really enjoyed hearing from everyone and seeing your photographs. And it was very encouraging to her, those thank you notes. So now I want to just bring you up to date to her last weekend on this earth. And I think you'll get a sense of what's going on there. Oh, by the way, I also remember her singing some Christmas carols. And that was a beautiful thing to her, right before, just a few weeks before she died. Anyway, it was a Friday. The Friday before she passed away on a Monday. And she had come from the hospital, and she was now at her house, and we all knew that she didn't have very many days at all to live. So she's lying in bed, and I said, Mom, I've got to go. I want to go get lunch over at Panera's real quick and come right back. And these were, you got to think about this. My mom said, "Do you need some money for that?" She's worried about my lunch money. So to the end, she's thinking about other people, and so that's the kind of generous person she was. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Melanie. That was lovely. And David, thank you also for being with us today and for sharing the stories. I would now like to welcome Dr. Larry Gregg, our university historian, who began teaching. Is it polite to say when you started teaching here?
Go right ahead.
Who began teaching on this campus in 1977 and retired from the faculty in 2021. He is a curator's distinguished teaching professor, highest rank you can be in the University of Missouri system, distinguished teaching professor emeritus of history, and author of many books, including our own Forged in Gold and Master Builder, a copy of which is on your table today. Larry?
Thank you, Dick. Just a couple of personal remarks before I begin going through my prepared remarks. When I was researching that book that's on each table, I did a lot of interviews with people in the industry and a lot of people in Fred Kummer's family, including Melanie, who graciously let me sit down and ask her questions. But kind of the highlight was Melanie organizing 3 opportunities for me to interview June. And it was always on a Saturday at 1 o'clock in her kitchen at the table. I remember the first time that I sat down with her, she was a little cautious. She didn't know who this guy was, asking her questions about her family, but she began to warm up. And in the last visit, we were going to look for photographs to use in the book, and many of them are in the book, and you're going to see some of them up here. And David and Melanie were there to help, but they had to go somewhere, so it was just June and I looking for photographs, and I could tell she was getting tired. And I said, you know, June, I think I need to get on my way back home. And she sat down, and she put out both of her hands and took mine, and she said, you know, you're welcome to come back anytime you wish. So I became a June Kummer fan at that moment. So if my presentation seems a little biased in her favor, you'll know why now. In 2020, when June and Fred Kummer made their extraordinary gift to Missouri S&T, June made it clear that the two of them were, to quote her, very keen on the importance of higher education because they felt overly blessed for the opportunities that education had given them. After all, neither of them grew up in wealthy families, but both were unbelievably successful in life. Now, scholars of the American experience have long pointed out that having a talent and an extraordinary work ethic usually is not enough to achieve one's goals. Access to a good education with caring teachers and mentors has been essential. So briefly looking at her first 3 decades, one can see the validity of that conclusion. June's parents, who you see there, Arthur Baumer and Emma Wolfe, grew up in modest circumstances. And when June was born in 1930, which was the second year of the Great Depression, her father was working in a soap factory in St. Louis before operating a small grocery and butcher shop at their home on Vista Avenue. Her mother contributed to the family income working as a stenographer. Now, June had 2 sisters, Arlene and Jacqueline. Arlene attended Hadley Technical High School, intending to be a secretary. June followed her sister to Hadley, which you see there, and there's one of June's grade cards. But she had no intention of being a secretary. Instead, she studied drafting. Years later, she said, "When they gave me a straight edge and a triangle, I knew I had arrived." One of her teachers was Joseph Senny Sr., and you can see his name on the grade card on the left. Has anyone ever heard of a Joe Senny here at Missouri S&T? Yeah, Joe Senny Jr. was the chair of civil engineering for 20 years. This is his father. Senny had a profound impact on June's life. He taught architectural drawing, and once he saw the quality of her work, he encouraged her to consider applying to his alma mater, Washington University, to study architecture. June took Senny's advice and undoubtedly had a recommendation from him for admission to the school. Here's a wonderful old photograph of the WashU School of Architecture. When she began classes, June discovered she was one of only 3 women majoring in architecture. The university had only begun accepting females into the architecture degree program in the mid-1930s, and only one woman had ever graduated. That was in 1943. And June later recalled that the faculty and the male students did not always, as she put it, greet us with open arms. Nevertheless, she did well in her classes, and she enjoyed an active life on campus, including being nominated as a homecoming queen. 1948, you see in the newspaper article up there. And you see a photo of June who's just relaxing between classes. And then I found this interesting photo. There was a competition at WashU to design an arch for the riverfront. And to give some perspective to this model, they asked one of the architecture students to stand in, and they picked June to stand in there. Well, she graduated with a bachelor's degree in 1952, one of three women, the same three women made all the way through. And her access to college education quickly paid off. She found a job with the William B. Ittner architectural firm, which specialized in the construction of K through 12 schools throughout the Midwest. And that's where she met a fellow named Fred Kummer, whom she married in 1953. And there's a wedding day photograph up there at the top. Fred was a student at the Missouri School of Mines and Metallurgy, majoring in civil engineering, but Fred had consistently done poorly in his classes at MSM. That's a polite way of saying he was failing at MSM, and consequently he enlisted in the Army. And there you see him, they are in New Jersey. He went to Fort Dix, New Jersey, the Army's infantry training center. Before the couple had their first child, Caroline, in March of '54, June had vainly sought a position in the School of Architecture at Princeton University, where someone on the staff insulted her by saying, "Well, if you want a job here, I suppose you could sharpen our pencils." And that's something she never forgot. She told me that story twice. However, she was persistent, and she did secure a position with Micklewright and Mountford, an architectural firm in Trenton, New Jersey, for a brief time. In fall of '54, Fred, June, and Caroline moved to Rolla, where he finished the coursework for a degree in civil engineering the following year. After making poor grades for several semesters, Fred made the honors list his last year. So I asked June about this in one of the interviews I had with her. I asked, was the turnaround because of the discipline of military life? Was it the necessity of providing for a family, or was it because of the pressure you put on him to finish his coursework? And she looked at me and she went, she didn't say a word. So I realized, I knew that Fred Kummer was a tough guy. I didn't realize how tough June was. Between 1955 and 1960, Fred worked for two construction companies, Ples Lewis and Son Construction in St. Clair and Buckley Construction in Fenton. But in between those two employment phases, Fred and June began their own general contracting business with a focus on building houses. June drafted the plans for their very first house, which Fred later said he built virtually with my own hands, although he didn't acknowledge that his father-in-law helped him build that house. With his short-lived firm, as I learned in examining the Kummer early business papers, which are now in the campus archives, I realized that June had a couple of key roles in this early firm. She signed almost all the checks. As she controlled the financial side of this early Kummer construction company, and she continued designing. Indeed, if you look at the top, whenever they submitted bids, look at the way they signed off as associate designers, not one being more important than the other. In fact, they were not just equal. June's name is first. So in those initial years, June was a critical player for this early business. In 1960, when the second Kummer Construction Company was up and running, June increasingly turned her attention to their growing family. Fritz was born in 1957, and Melanie, if you don't mind, was born in 1958. June explained that Fred often worked all night long putting together bids, and then she would put the kids in a car, and she would drive and deliver the bids to the prospective employer. In reflecting on those years, June later recalled, and we have it up on the slide, we've always worked together. We're a team. I learned a lot about engineering from Fred, and he learned a lot about design from me. Well, after 1960, June focused upon raising their 3 children, becoming a master gardener, and she was extraordinary as a gardener, and developing philanthropic interests. However, she still occasionally helped in the planning of the landscaping for some of the HBE projects. Fred and June were both smart, savvy, and dedicated in their endeavors, but they did not take all the credit for their successes. They consistently acknowledged the critical role of access to a good institution of higher education. As Fred put it in October 2020, I owe much of my success to the education I received at Rolla. So ultimately, the story of June and Fred Kummer is less the magnitude of their financial success with HBE and in the building of the Adams Mark Hotels and Resorts chain, and more, their profound commitment to invest in a university that has the promise to improve the chances of students to live their American dreams as Fred and June did, through the study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects. The Kummers most certainly intended their gift would help the university to boost its research productivity, and they clearly intended that it would promote economic development in Missouri. But the bedrock of their intention was clear. They wanted to enhance the chances of upward mobility for thousands of students who will benefit from their philanthropy. So let me close my remarks with just a personal thanks to June and Fred Kummer for their remarkable philanthropy.
Thank you, Larry. And now we're going to hear from a couple of the students who have benefited from that generosity. Now, please help me welcome Conley Harden, one of our Kummer Vanguard scholars, to the podium. Conley is a civil engineering student from Austin, Texas. Conley?
Hello, everyone. Whoa, sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the remarkable support of the Kummer family and the success of the Kummer Institute. As Dr. Brown mentioned, my name is Conley Harden, and I am a senior studying civil engineering. I am honored to be a member of the inaugural class of Kummer Vanguard Scholars here at Missouri S&T. When I received the news that I was selected for the Kummer Vanguard Scholarship, I could hardly imagine the profound impact and incredible opportunities that would come my way over the past 3 years. I had the privilege of serving on the first Kummer Vanguard Scholars Student Steering Committee, collaborating with Rachel and Jackie to transform what was then a group of 450 students meeting in Leach Theater on Wednesday nights. The challenge was to create an impactful program focused on innovation and entrepreneurship. I want to extend my heartfelt admiration to Rachel Coman and Jackie Meineke for their exceptional management of this large group of newly graduated high schoolers and for their dedication in shaping the program that we have today. Throughout my journey as a Kummer Vanguard Scholar, I have engaged in nearly every opportunity offered for student involvement and enrichment, attending colloquiums, participating in a study abroad program, and contributing to other student organizations on campus. Each experience has significantly shaped my growth as both a student and a future professional. One particularly memorable moment occurred in December of 2022, when a few of us had the chance to visit Fred and June Kummer's home in St. Louis and meet with June. She shared her experiences from architecture school, her time spent in drafting classes, and the challenges she faced as a woman in a technical field. It was incredibly poignant to hear her story, especially as we, a group of all aspiring female engineers, listened around the dining table. On behalf of all the scholars supported by the Kummer Vanguard Scholars and Kummer I&E Fellows programs, I extend our deepest gratitude for your generosity and unwavering commitment to nurturing the next generation of innovators and entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thanks, Conley. Well done. Thank you for sharing your experience as a Kummer Vanguard Scholar. Another key initiative made possible by this gift is the Kummer Innovation and Entrepreneurship Doctoral Fellows Program. Now I'd like to welcome Dr. Ugochukwu Iwozia to the podium. Ugochukwu completed his first PhD in industrial chemistry in Nigeria, his home country. Today he's working on his second PhD as a student in the Linda and Bipin Doshi Department of Chemical and Biochemical Engineering.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It is a profound honor to stand before you today as a representative of the Kummer I&E Doctoral Fellows. My name is Ugochukwu Iwozia, and I'm deeply grateful for the transformative role the Kummer I&E Fellowship has played in my academic role, journey and life. The Kummer I&E Fellowship has been instrumental in my path to pursuing a PhD degree in chemical engineering here at Missouri S&T. Coming from Nigeria, where I worked as a laboratory scientist in a global gas-to-liquid refinery for 9 years, I have been always passionate about finding innovative solutions to environmental challenges. My work in synthetic fuels and waste recycling sparked my interest in reducing the carbon footprint of essential materials like concrete. Concrete, as we all know, is vital in constructing the roads, bridges, and buildings we rely on, but it also constitutes a significant CO2 emissions. Thanks to the support of the Kummer Fellowship, I've had the freedom to pursue research that aims to reduce this environmental impact. By exploring sustainable alternatives to traditional cement, my work seeks to cut emissions while ensuring that concrete remains as strong and reliable as ever. The Kummer I&E Fellowship has given me far more than just financial support. It allowed my family to join me in the US and afforded us the opportunity to pursue dreams that once seemed distant. This program doesn't just support research, it invests in futures, families, and innovations that solves for tomorrow. One of the major highlights of my journey is working on a NASA-endorsed project to reduce the emissions and environmental impact of civil supersonic transport. This opportunity would have not been possible without the freedom that the Kummer I&E Fellowship provides to pursue research that aligns with innovation and entrepreneurship, which are the core tenets of the Kummer legacy. I want to express my deepest gratitude to Fred and June Kummer's family, especially their daughter and her husband, who are here with us today. Your family's generosity has not only shaped my academic career, but also has opened doors that allow me and so many others who are here and those yet to join the Kummer's I&E Doctoral Fellows Program to create a lasting impact on the world. Thank you for believing in the power of innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you for investing in all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ugochukwu, for sharing your story with us tonight. So these two students have bright futures ahead of them, and you can learn more about them in the Kummer Institute annual report that you received at the check-in table today. Now, as has become an annual tradition on Kummer Day, I'd like to welcome back Chancellor Dehghani to the podium to read this year's letter to Fred and June.
Thank you, Dick. Thanks very much. I want to highlight a couple of things before I start reading my letter. First of all, we are really, really proud of our Kummer scholars as well as I&E fellows. I&E stands for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, doctoral fellowships. So the difference is that every PhD student conducts research, but I&E fellows conduct research with an eye towards innovation and entrepreneurship. So what does their research mean when they finish? What are they going to do with it? How are they going to be innovative? And what kind of entrepreneurial startups they can envision? So that's the difference. And we are really, really proud of them. I just want to highlight that the Kummer Vanguard, the scholars, the 1,300 people, by the way, Melanie and David, you've got about 1,300 letters of appreciation sitting in those baskets. So you're not done with reading. So, but they are incredibly heartwarming as you read, and you realize the difference that you have made on the lives of our students. It's not only the financial assistance that helps these students, it's also the programmatic involvement, research, innovation, public service. All of that elements combined has made them incredibly better students. Their GPAs and their rate of retention from freshman to sophomore years, from sophomore to junior and to senior, and therefore graduation rate is by far better than our general public students. Keep that in mind, and that it's a metric that we can write home about, that it has made a huge difference, so much so that we are trying to scale those programs for every student that comes to S&T, because it has been so impactful and so positive in the outcome of their results. Let me also say that I am well familiar with that round kitchen table that was mentioned here. I've spent a period of maybe 18 months with Fred and June, mostly with Fred, of course, when we were talking about different activities. And you know, as I will mention in my letter, every session became a learning experience for me. And to be honest about this, none of the sessions were easy, none of them. Just being in presence of Fred was an experience in and of itself. I remember even after Fred and June bestowed the gift on the university, every Saturday, sharp at 10 o'clock in the morning, I would be at the house, at that round table, in the kitchen, highlighting everything that we've done so far with the progress of money. And you can imagine, you know, going in presence of Fred, the master builder. Some of you may not know that he built 1,012 hospitals. 1,012 hospitals. We have 3 buildings going up on campus here, and those are life-shortening experiences for me. And Fred and June built 1,012 hospitals. So I remember when I would park my car, I would be shaking in my knees, walking toward the door, ringing the bell, going in there, and I knew one way or another we hadn't done the right thing. It was inevitable. You know, I'll share a story with you that one time I went in there and, you know, I said, "Hi, Fred," and he said, "Hi. What kind of dumb thing was that you guys did?" I mean, it was after hi, it was the very first full sentence that he said to me. Now, of course, I didn't know what he was talking about, and he went on and on, and so I said, "Fred, I'm sorry, but I don't know what has happened, but I promise you I'll look into it and come back and report back to you." And so I came back here and got the guys together, and I said, "What the hell did we do?" You know, and so we looked into it. What he was talking about had happened at the University of Rhode Island, not at S&T. So I was all geared up to go back and say, well, it wasn't us, you know. And so I did. I went in there, good morning, Fred, good morning, you know, walked in and said, Fred, by the way, what you were talking about last week happened at the University of Rhode Island. It wasn't S&T. He said, I don't care. I'm sure you guys do the same dumb things. So I want you to know that he was a remarkable big thinker, possibility thinker, rainmaker, and an inspiration to anyone and everyone that touched his life. Wasn't easy. Working with Fred wasn't easy. But every person, based on, you know, what I read in Larry's book, every person that came across Fred and June, they were better off for it. Read it for yourself, and you will get the same sense. It was really a learning experience. I've dealt in my career, I've dealt with a lot of big thinkers, but Fred was a breed apart. I tell you one other story, that when we were doing the COVID vaccination, if you remember early in the COVID times, vaccines were first made available to rural areas. And it was available to seniors, if you remember that. And Phelps Health, and Jason is sitting here. Jason, where are you? Thank you for all your help. Phelps Health coordinated, and I was driving Fred from St. Louis to Rolla for him to get his vaccination. And as we were coming down here, he kept on pointing to different buildings along the way that he had been instrumental in designing, building, and all of that. And we got to talk about another major philanthropist in St. Louis area, a very well-known guy whom will not be named. And he said, you know, Mo, I wish so-and-so person was alive that I could consult with him. So that person served as a mentor to Fred, and he remembered that all his life. So I said to him, well, Fred, you know, the father isn't alive, but the son is here, and he's doing a great job, and he's done a remarkable work and all of that, and I can tell Melanie and David know who I'm talking about. And I said, why don't you talk to the son? You know, and he probably has all the background information. And he took a minute and he said, no. He named the son's name and he said, he is no father. So I shut up, of course, you know, but he talks like that, I just, you know. But I couldn't hold it. 10 miles later, I said, Fred, what do you mean? You know, what's the difference? And he simply said that he doesn't think big enough. That sums up who Fred was. Okay, now the son that I'm talking about is managing a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And yet he thought he's not thinking big enough because of the legacy of the father and whatever has come down the line and all of that. So then, of course, I then shut up, absolutely, because I didn't want to say another word and sort of possibly, God forbid, anger him. You know, it was that. So with that, and before I forget, I wanna thank our curators, Chairwoman Robin Winokur and Keith Alloway and Kathy Alloway. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Thank you all. And then members of Kummer Board, I only see Sue Simmons, who, thank you, Sue, for being here. Of course, you never left the university, so Sue has been helping us in every meaningful capacity with the university, not only as the board of Kummer, member of the board of Kummer, but also as the trustee, and until very recently, the chair of the Missouri S&T trustees. So thank you very much, Sue. You know, we always forget to send you your paycheck for all these years that you've been here. So thank you, though. Thank you for service. So with that, I'm going to read my annual letter. Just a note that this is my 4th letter that I read. And these letters get all archived in the Kummer repositories, and hopefully they will continue in perpetuity. Simply, it's a follow-up to my Saturday meetings with Fred, that I went to him and reported to him what we've done. So these are now annual, and I report everything that we've done in the past year. So I met Fred shortly after joining S&T in August of 2019. We had weekly meetings, and over the course of the next 14 months, we hammered out a Kummer plan to build on our foundation of academic excellence to have an even greater impact on S&T and beyond. It was during those 14 months that my respect for the master builder grew enormously, to the point that every meeting with Fred became a learning session for me. What a difference 4 years makes. I wish that Fred and June were with us today to meet the students who are benefiting from their generosity. I have prepared a letter to share with you today. This letter serves as my annual report to Fred and June, and I will provide this report every year on Kummer Day as we celebrate the anniversary of their gift. Dear Fred and June, I read this letter today as part of a tradition we began 4 years ago at the very first Kummer Day. Every year, as we celebrate the anniversary of your gift, I present a report to our campus community on the impact of your gift on our university. Today, I read this letter with a lump in my throat, as this is the first Kummer Day report I've delivered since June's passing in January. June, I like to think that you and Fred have reunited to extend your 68-year marriage. You were two remarkable individuals and one outstanding couple. Fred and June, you'll be pleased that your university is on the rise and that the Kummer Institute continues to be in good hands under the direction of a dedicated board of directors. Originally named the Kummer Institute Foundation, we recently renamed it to the Kummer Missouri S&T Foundation. The new name reflects your devotion to the university as well as the foundation's partnership and commitment to S&T. In March, Dr. Steve Roberts, who led the Kummer Institute during the first 3 years, handed over the reins to Dr. Richard Brow, a longtime researcher, faculty member, and leader at S&T. I want to thank Dr. Roberts for his stellar service to the Institute. He is now our Vice Chancellor and Chief Strategy Officer, focusing on S&T's bioinnovation initiative and other areas of strategic importance. We are making great progress on your threefold mandate to us. Elevate Missouri S&T, provide broad STEM outreach, and ensure economic impact. First, we are working to elevate S&T through academic and research excellence. Dr. James Sterling, Jim is sitting here, hi Jim, is leading the charge in academics for the Kummer College of Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Economic Development. Named in your honor, Dr. Sterling joined S&T in June as Vice Provost and Founding Dean of the college. He brings a background in academic entrepreneurship that you would appreciate. He envisions the college as serving the entire university and the community. Dr. Sterling has hit the ground running. In July, he announced the college's Innovation Ecosystem Design Initiative. Dr. Venkat Alada, Professor of Engineering Management and Systems Engineering, will lead this one-year project. It is the first major step in developing a robust Rolla-centered regional innovation ecosystem. We are delighted to have on campus today Dr. Joel West, an entrepreneurial expert who will draw upon his vast expertise and experiences and discuss tips for creating an entrepreneurial ecosystem right here in Rolla, Missouri. I'd like to extend my thanks to Dr. Tim Faley. Tim is here, I saw Tim, who served as the interim vice provost and dean of the Kummer College during our college dean search. He is now able to devote his full attention to his role as Associate Vice Chancellor of Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Commercialization. His Office for Technology Transfer and Economic Development brought in more than $1 million in royalty income this past fiscal year, a record for our university. Fred and June, your gift is also transforming research at S&T through grants for research innovation and teaching transformation. These come in the form of our Ignition grant programs, which provide seed funding to support faculty in their quest for large multidisciplinary grants from federal agencies. In fact, 13 of S&T's recent invention disclosures were made by Kummer Ignition grant recipients and Kummer INE doctoral fellows. Through the Kummer Institute, we have also committed matching funds to federal grants that have been awarded, as well as matching funds for pending federal grants. We are on the cusps of meeting our North Star goal on Carnegie R1 Research University status, which is classified as very high research activity. We expect to attain that status in January of 2025. How about that? Under the leadership of Dr. Kamal Khayyat, and I saw Kamal here, hello Kamal, our university's overall research award have increased remarkably. Fiscal year 2024 saw an increase of more than 36% over 2023 and 78% over 2022. Our overall research expenditures also increased 20% over 2023 and 34% over 2022. Dr. Richard Bellow, is Rick here? No. Dr. Richard Bellow, our director of the Kummer Institute Center for Advanced Manufacturing, continues to secure significant funding from federal agencies and the state government to further our effort to solidify S&T's position as a national leader in advanced manufacturing. With a total of $22 million so far and $9.1 million from a MoExcel's grant from the state, he will work with leaders of other Missouri institutions of higher education to modernize the Missouri manufacturing industry and reinvigorate the workforce. This will ultimately ensure economic development for our state. Our mission to elevate S&T is also benefiting greatly from Kummer scholarships and fellowship programs, which are now in their 4th year. This fall, over 1,300 Kummer Vanguard scholars are enrolled at S&T, and they are experiencing tremendous success thanks to this program and your generosity. As you recall, Fred, the program attracts and supports the best and the brightest first-year students in STEM degree programs and is renewable for 4 years. Fred and June, This program is much more than a scholarship program. Kummer Vanguard scholars get involved in professional development programming in 5 areas: leadership, research, design and build, entrepreneurship, and social impact. They also benefit from the wisdom of alumni and other leaders in business, entrepreneurship, and innovation who speak regularly to these students. June, you impressed the students who met you by discussing the challenges you faced as a woman working in a technical field. You were a pioneering architect then and an inspiration now. In May, some of our first Kummer Vanguard scholars graduated. This was not our first full cohort of scholars. Instead, these 22 students came to S&T with several college credits already earned, which allowed them to graduate in under 4 years. We are also in the 4th year of our fellowship program for PhD students called the Kummer Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or I&E Doctoral Fellows. There are currently 47 PhD students in this program. Each of these students is focused on conducting research with high potential for commercialization. Our goal is to grow that number each year so that we have up to 100 Kummer I&E fellows on campus at any given time. In addition to these scholars and fellows, Kummer student programs offer opportunities for all students. Dr. Rachel Coleman, and I think I saw Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Assistant Dean of Entrepreneurship Education for Kummer College, encourages the students to capitalize on these opportunities. This fall, she launched the Badge of Entrepreneurial Excellence program. Open to all S&T students, this program offers physical and digital badges that validate and showcase the knowledge and skills they develop outside the traditional academic settings. In addition to the tremendous impact of your generosity on our students' success, I would be remiss, Fred and June, if I did not also mention the impact of your gift on our faculty. Not only has your gift founded endowed faculty positions, but thanks to innovative thinking of Dr. Brau, this year we introduced the Kummer Impact Professorship. These professorships offer 5 years of discretionary funding totaling $50,000, including an annual salary, a stipend of $7,500 plus benefits. Our inaugural recipient is Dr. Hongyan Ma. Is Hongyan here? No. Francisco Benavides, a scholar and associate professor of civil, architectural, and environmental engineering. Your own program, Fred. His research team has made impactful research discoveries in carbon neutral and carbon negative concrete and building materials. Recognized with support and awards from the U.S. Department of Energy, the National Science Foundation, and the U.S. Department of Defense. Your gift has also inspired other donors to give to this wonderful university, and we concluded a record-setting year of fundraising. Philanthropic contributions for fiscal year 2024 totaled over $94 million. Thanks to Tori. Tori is in the room. Hi, Tori. This amount was only surpassed by our 2021 fundraising year that included your transformational $300 million gift. Last October, our Kummer Day of Giving Match program raised over $750,000 for Missouri S&T students. The donations came from 74 alumni, 8 S&T employees, and a few donors who requested anonymity. We recently announced Gary Havener's gift of $25 million to support the university's New Havener Arrival Complex, everything that you see here. As a member of the Kummer Institute Foundation Board of Directors, and a 1962 S&T graduate, he has long supported our university. Gary is another one of our alums who never left the university. Fred and June, we have been good stewards of your precious gift. Despite having spent nearly $100 million of it, your gift has grown to $400 million today. Thanks to donors inspired by your gift, including Jim and Kay Bradley, Anthony Steinmeier, Jeffrey Sheets, Nucor, Joseph Rupp, Steve Coulter, Anne Marie Day, and Thomas Sunderman. We are also making great strides in the second part of the Kummer mandate to establish broad STEM outreach. A little over 3 years ago, Courtney Jones joined S&T as director of the Kummer Center for STEM Education. I think I saw Courtney as well. Raise your hand, Courtney. Hi. In just a few years, Courtney and her able team have extended STEM education far beyond the walls of this great university. Courtney oversees the center's engaging programming for students in grades K through 12 and for teacher development. The team hosts after-school programs, free tutoring, community outreach events, teacher conferences and workshops, and research experiences for both teachers and students. Her team takes projects and experiments on the road in vehicles called STEM mobiles, and has interacted with over 11,000 students at 29 schools this year alone. I know for a fact, Fred and June, that you would love this wonderful initiative that is now a fully functional program. The center's biggest yearly undertaking is our summer camps, where students experience the STEM fields in fun and meaningful ways. This year, we welcomed over 1,000 students from mostly underserved districts to one or more of 28 camps and provided over $95,000 in scholarships to 163 campers. Another large undertaking is staffing the Missouri State Fair, where children of all ages from all parts of the state came to our S&T areas and flew drones, drove or programmed robots, checked our virtual reality, and watched live demonstrations. Over the past academic year, Courtney and her team brought over 5,000 K-12 students to campus through inspiring STEM programs. The STEM Center also hosted workshops and conferences for K-12 teachers. Starting this semester, the center is launching a free after-school program for 3 Phelps County school districts, thanks in part to a grant totaling almost $2 million over the next several years. Fred and June, you'd love to see this program as well. Last but certainly not least, our third goal is to ensure economic impact in our region and state. Your transformative gift is doing that in many ways. As I mentioned earlier, Dr. Richard Bellow helped secure $9.1 million in state funding to modernize Missouri manufacturing and reinvigorate the workforce. At Manufacturing Day last week, leaders from collaborating colleges, industry leaders, and elected officials came together on campus and discussed these plans and how to overcome challenges in manufacturing. S&T is leading the way, thanks in large part to your gift. Dr. Bello is the director of the Missouri Protoplex, which will open in the spring of 2026 as the first building of our manufacturing technology and innovation campus on the north side of Interstate 44. Looking for a bottle of water if there is one here. Or soon I'm going to need a muffler. The Missouri Protoplex will serve as the research and development hub for manufacturers across the state. Thank you. We already have companies signed on to be a part of this facility and the Manufacture Missouri Ecosystem, or MME. The MME will connect the small, medium-sized, or large manufacturers throughout Missouri to our expert researchers and talented students. Another exciting initiative is our forthcoming semiconductor engineering program, which will officially launch next fall. Thanks to the support of the board and the private gifts, Missouri S&T will be the first university in the nation to tackle this profession's workforce gap, which federal and industry employment projections show could soar to the tens of thousands over the next several years. We expect to see interest from the students in Missouri, throughout the U.S., and around the globe. Part of this $20 million investment will fund a new 2,500 square foot clean room located on the ground floor of our new Applied Research Center, with its construction finished by late 2026. Your gift has been instrumental in transforming our campus and provides ongoing investment in capital projects. In April, we dedicated our 50,000 square foot innovation lab, this building, a remarkable facility that includes spaces useful to students across all disciplines. The building is already a home for the imagination and creativity of our students. We are seeing high use of the spaces and enthusiasm from our students. It is a place for possibility thinkers, and I wish you were able to see your vision come to fruition. We also opened our nearby underground parking facilities during the past year. Over the summer, we extended and relocated the underpass that connects the main campus with our residence halls and our future innovation campus. Construction continues on the Welcome Center, which will open next summer. This 32,000 square foot facility will stand directly east of the Innovation Lab, taking its place among more familiar S&T landmarks like the Rolla building and the Havner Center. True to its name, the facility will serve as a beginning point for S&T visitors, including future students and their families. Support from the Kummer Institute is helping with the renovation and expansion of our Applied Research Center, formerly named the Engineering Research Laboratory. The renovation of Schrank Hall East for our biological sciences classes and teaching labs in support of our new effort in biomedicine and biological engineering and sciences, and an expansion of our geothermal field in the main campus. These three projects will be completed by April of 2027. As this letter attests, we are on the right trajectory in fulfilling your mandates. Fred, you encouraged us to think big, and you and June backed it up with the largest charitable gift in Missouri history. You have significantly raised our sights and our supporters' confidence in our future. The Kummer Institute that your generosity created has an unlimited potential to improve lives through STEM outreach and education. Your inspiration remains the responsibility of all of us who serve here. On behalf of the Kummer Institute, Kummer College, Kummer Vanguard Scholars, the I&E Doctoral Fellows, our endowed chairs and professors, the university and the greater community of Rolla and the region, I say that we are proud to continue the great work of the Institute in your name. We therefore continue to remain grateful, Fred and June, that you decided, based on your own personal experience, that this university's mission is worthy of your support. You have made a tremendous difference, and we look forward to fulfilling your wishes in perpetuity in accordance with your mandate to elevate Missouri S&T, provide broad STEM outreach, and ensure economic impact. Thank you.
Thanks, Mo. So on behalf of Missouri S&T, I thank all of our speakers today. We are especially grateful to Melanie and David for being here and sharing your personal reflections. Your presence adds a special dimension to our celebration. As we conclude, let's remember that Fred and June's gift was not just a donation. It was a challenge to all of us to think bigger. We heard that. Think big enough to reach higher and make a lasting impact on the world. In the 4 years since their transformative gift, we've seen remarkable progress, but in many ways, we're just getting started. The seeds planted by the Kummer's generosity will continue to grow and flourish for generations to come. As you leave today, I encourage each of you to reflect on how you can contribute to this legacy. Whether you're a student, a faculty member, a university leader, or a community leader, we all have a role to play in realizing the full potential of the Kummer gift. On the tables, you'll find copies of Dr. Gregg's biography of Fred Kummer. Please feel free to take one home as a memento of this day. Additional copies are available for purchase at the S&T store, and Larry said he'd be available to sign them and maybe put a little personal note in there if you ask nicely. Speaking of which, we invite you to all join us now for dessert in the Innovation Lab. Tours of the building are available for those interested. Kummer I&E fellow presentations will begin shortly in the Havner Center if you'd like to take your dessert to go. Once again, thank you all for being here today to celebrate the Kummer's legacy and the bright future of Missouri S&T, and please enjoy the rest of your afternoon.